Hi, I'm Eric Shorter, and I'm a poet. I'll be reading a few poems for you as I go. I'll try to explain some of them, and some of them I'll just read straight on. I was lamenting how I might end up being published, getting out there, and I wrote this poem. It's called Maybe Next Year. What is this thing called me? This funny thing? Lover man, where can I be? Cupped tightly in the hands of fate, word by word, hour by hour, working, praying to pry open, pry apart the fingers, if only for a glimpse of the promise today. Maybe next year I will win the rat race. Maybe next year I will ride a pleasure train to everywhere. Maybe next year there I will be, one of the recognized. I will be free, I will be on my way home, and I will know it. Another glorious summer of soon. So I was talking about ekphrasis and the ekphrastic poem, and the one that I wrote for the Tristan Eaton piece called Let's Bang. It really just came to me, and I thought, well, this is cool. Maybe I should try writing another one. It didn't work for me, and I really haven't tried again since, but this was my attempt at doing it. And what ended up was something that I looked at on the cover of the magazine American Poets. And I looked at this photo, and I tried to write another ekphrasis. It's four stanzas, and each stanza is 4 lines, and each of those lines have the same number of matching syllables to the stanza prior. It's called American Dreams. Would that I could dance above the wires like an orange setting sun kicking about. This way travels one way, hopes come and go, tethered to paper money, walking on air. Want what I am between soft mat covers, like a rain pent up in clouds passing us by. That promise of a flag, the hand is raised, enticed with sepia tones, falling for dusk. Abstinence. Lost. So many letters. All those words, precious and semi-precious jewels, an entire collection of old, unfinished, let it go, turn and leave, an aching anguish locked in an empty pit, made by ardor, made in longing, oddly even, found. When the light comes and the sunrise mirrors the sunset, as the chimney stacks blow, they're vanishing dragons of steam and pollution into the pale blue of a cold December sky. And the freight train containers roll eerily in from afar on wheels and rails of frozen steel to the yard. Abstinence makes the heart go wander. You are still a part of my every day after day, without which I am not whole. I wanted to try my hand at writing a long-form poem that wasn't completely abstract and really stuck to a singular theme. And the theme was a boxer looking for a knockout, or if nothing else, a technical knockout. And I tried to disguise all of my boxing references into thoughts of having a crush on someone, and that yearning. So it's called Stalking a TKO. Gunning for where to find what we seek, in cornering and exceeding, to release, let it fly, if ever tightly body to body will be, head and gut, tops and bottoms until surrender. Best to leave it dwell in fancy alone, maybe not entirely without sin for some, but far enough from guilt to carry on that bliss and touch out of range, hunting for the outside, angles with hooks and feints, free-handed and free-hearted obscurities, a locum, little morsels, a mouthful of comfort, soothing the throat of whispers and silence, such is delight, spinning ancient Persian recipes. Draping, wearing a white shroud of the ego, opening with each turn as flower bloom from below, revealing within as without, pistil and stamen, style, stigma and filament, petal and ovule. The rabbit hole takes us in a trance. Let's play. Have you ever stood in the total stillness beneath a clear sky at midnight in the desert west or great forest east and spun counter to the clocks, except during the final hours of August following the planet associated with love, where a single day extends beyond a year, twirling eyes to the heavens without a destination, strafing the pages with stealthy expressions, broad terminology and neologism, in correlation and curiosities, until the light of all the stars upon stars and planets, nebulas and galaxies blur into one as you stretch with all your might, as trees reach with their uppermost point in the skies above. Singular, the dull space boxed up, effectively square without flavor or zeal, with no connection to incipient stirrings, knowing that feeling and electricity, what it's like raised in the way where Jersey girls abound. Between us, we may find the perfect metaphor yet for ignoring any number of God's 10 commandments. Predetermined determinant of don't dare. The torture of restraint itself can be murderous, like exceptional chocolate and riding a bike, once you know how it stays with you. Been witness to a waning crescent moon in the early dawn when the colors shift cerulean, blue, magenta, red, and brilliant orange, with the serene sunrise awe, the pointed cusp of shadow, an illumination and a love letter catches you under the chin, lifting your head up skyward to gaze, rooted and held, if only by the great Mother Gaia's gravity. Lest you be relieved of the waters made flesh like a beautiful fish from life's wondrous lake, a drawer full of hopeful mittens knit by extroverted fingers itching to get out. Cut off the ring, move ever nearer what invites you but cannot be attended, compelling obsessions to take us around the block for a good time against the ropes, so wrong jabs, so right crosses, the sweet science of generalship. There is a dance in this art form and an art to this dance. You are there, we are here, I hear you. Through the imperatives of your hand, the fervid cock-a-hoop exposure, the over-collected blossoms, cryptochromes in age-old memory. I see you hoping you won't see me, no matter how small, funny the one we choose to present to others, all too random, the appreciation and the selector's selections. Perhaps we can keep these papers from the flames, that they may ignite again inside, warming someone elsewhere. Along the quiet hours of lonely nights with the Holy Spirit for company. Thank you for the notion, the great self-satisfaction, as incredible as reality, a singular voice in a museum of artifactual ideas of possibilities. For as far as the mind can fathom, zoom all the way to the smallest point and the greatest expanse, maybe a princess or a bird in space. What's the worth in the end to give it all up for good? Pervasive passions aptly advancing, pressing forward, pursuits and ecstasy ecstatic in mind, a fantastical glimpse of the glory by chance of a mere glance. Who will say, that's enough? Stop the fight. At good old CHS, Columbia High School, it was as I was operating as a chaperone for one of the high school musicals. It was the Sunday matinee, and Chuck Berry had passed away. And the kids in the hall and in the gymnasium were dancing to his music. And I just scribbled this on a piece of paper and transcribed it for you here. It's called Johnny Can't Resist. Johnny Can't Resist. Boogie original Chuck Boogie Don gone. Done it right. Bell ringing, ding-a-linging, be sending them still. Them little creamy straight to Hot Street dancing their asses off as if that trophy is a foregone conclusion. Here's the reason why. There's bad and there's a bad man. But good music, always be good. This is a SOMA specific, a MAPSO specific poem. I'm going to give both credit. This is a MAPSO specific, a SOMA specific poem. And yeah, it's about being out here in the suburbs, not in the city. And I wrote it in the summertime. It's called Summer Song After Hours. My entire town slumbers amidst the katydids tucked away, comfortably horizontal on our pillows and thread counts, behind our open windows and soot-gray screens. Walls and rooms just there, in the treetops, all of us within earshot, hear them as they sing, their shimmers in unison in counterpoint, cacophonous triplets and multiplets, sounding off circular love songs, on into the night, the dreams, in variations and fugue, they're everywhere. And invisible everywhere, like dark matter, in the darkness making itself known. Perhaps your town beyond the city limits sleeps amongst them too. A definitive yes, I'd wager. But then, that's the sound of the proud maple tree falls. In the wood, no doubt it goes down. Though actual proof is philosopher pudding. Allow the instinctual chorus to sink in, with each breath under our eyelids, rhythmic without rhyme. Reason so rational, killer of sleep soundly as one. Yeah, this is fun. This is another attempt at writing a long-form poem with a specific topic. And I chose to read this one because I recently went out west to our great national parks, and I encourage everybody to support and visit our fantastic national parks. They are truly a treasure. And so I happened to be in Utah at Bryce Canyon, and one of the guides said, there's a crow that knows me and he'll probably come visit us. I named him Edgar. And so that was just a couple weeks ago. So I went digging around because I wrote this, I would almost say an ode to Edgar Allan Poe. It's called Leeway Home. Leeway Home. Wonder what Edgar Allan might have took north with him to enlist, besides an army of enormous debts, a stiff and cruel exhaust, haunted by all that alabaster, the staunch white pillars and brick archways, gated gardens with their arrogance full of rocking chair promises. Before thee how black the raven, how emphatic the intellect and ebony beak, how savvy and mystical the ancient and colorful lore, given such demanding, such calls and insistence for payments unkind, such his brief and ignoble air, vindicated deliverance, redeemed with a plaque, recounting nothing more, nothing but here to see profoundly upon these grounds whence you once hosted untold revelry, a small segment of the Berlin Wall stands on display, shielded in plexiglass, graffitied with dates post-fall, since when, who knows. Who laughs now, sharing the future behavior, benchmarks of presence disconnected? Was fair maiden Annabelle any relation with Robert E. beyond a syllable of a name imagined on a sleepy rolling road along the Virginian countryside, with shocking red hair, deep-set eyes, and full ruby lips? What's in the fable still, deeper into the deep South, other than a correctional institution, without requisite correlation, riot-prone the riotous shores, curious what it was she said to you in the dark and dusky, professing love through and through in the dead of night by the sea? It be damned that got all the money, you was just Poe. How you must have carried it, by dim lantern light, into the wind and cloud, into the chilling of years, now an endless succession of lampposts stretched out high above for as far as the eye can see, no matter the fame and ineluctable fortune sent packing to escape the Scotsman, corked tightly into the bottle to ferment a pauper tottering out face first onto cobblestone. What, if anything, has changed besides the physical landscape as we travel wearily, making our way through time and tide, in similar direction, junction to junction, pondering legacy, my children and me? Maybe you hitched a ride on the back of a U.S. mail cart, carrying everyone else's words from Richmond to Wilmington, constrained to regale the ferryman with a salacious tale and an IOU. Making your ways by hook or crook further on to New York, two souls torn asunder. By natural innocence, a dark secret in skin, perhaps it was much simpler. A single passage and voyage for one, floating from this notion to that, loving and loving to love, up the coast, port to port. The point of meaningless. The post-information age has a proposition to make. Give us everything, really everything, and we'll give it right back to you. All you need to do is ask, or know how to ask. If you forget how to ask, just let us know, and we'll ask for you on your behalf. Case in point. What's the word for when a bug flies past you practically invisible? It catches the corner of your eye, then disappears, then reappears, but you lose it, only to stay up much later than originally planned, exactly long enough for it to fly past you once more, in plain sight, making itself known to be a mosquito. And you're able to track it this time. Swat at it, miss, swear, keep track of it, swat at it again, kill it, just before switching out the light to go to sleep peacefully after midnight. Is that called elation? Please see the following list of pages in forums chock-a-block full of opinionated views. A beautiful vista jutting out into the Pacific North Coast beckons, overlooking a dark and tranquil, star-glinted ocean. Can you see it now? The boundless line of a horizon in the distance, where the untold waters disappear into the night sky. Close your eyes and imagine yourself there.